morning. Today is Wednesday, March 16th, 2022, and we'd like to welcome everyone to the board meeting. We'll call this meeting to order at 9 a.m. You can join today's board meeting via phone. Dial 971-254-3149. Conference ID 736-023-979#. Audio capabilities are listen only and are offered on a best effort for the public. Our meeting is also live streamed, and you can join us by going online to tctvonline.com and click on live broadcasts. Before we get started, I'd like to remind everyone to mute their phone. You can do this by pressing *6. Please unmute your phone when your agenda item is ready to be discussed. For those joining via computer, please unmute your microphone and turn on your camera when your agenda item is called. All others must remain muted with their cameras turned off. Thank you. Public comment. Those intending to provide public comment to the board may attend in person or email submissions to publiccomments@co.tillamook.or.us. Public comments received by 12 p.m. on Tuesday will be distributed to the board, posted online before the meeting, and become part of the public record. You may also provide public comment virtually by registering ahead of time. To register, please email publiccomments@co.tillamook.or.us by 12 p.m. on the Tuesday prior to the board meeting. Public comments can also be mailed to the Board of Commissioners office, 201 Laurel Avenue, Tillamook, Oregon, 97141. For more information on public comment options, please visit the Board of Commissioners webpage. Do we have anyone signed up in the room, or has anyone signed up for public comment?
We did not.
Okay, we have no public comments today. Okay, well, I will first note that I'm Commissioner Scar, and I am chairing this meeting because Commissioner Yamamoto is joining us remotely today, so it's just easier to have someone in the room chair. So, hello, Commissioner. Good to see you. All right. With that, I would invite anyone in the room to sign the guest list, but we don't have any visitors with us today, so we will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Commissioner Bell, would you lead us, please?
I will. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, we have addressed that we have no public comment today. So as I noted, I will be chairing the meeting today, and then just to let anyone who may have been tuned in for agenda item number 9 know that that has been postponed. So we will pick that up at a future meeting. Okay, so we are going to start off today with a presentation from Tillamook County Wellness, and I believe that Marlene Petman is with us this morning to kick that off. Marlene, good morning.
I am. Good morning. I was just sending some emails back and forth with Isabel about our ability to share the presentation this morning. I've got two AmeriCorps Vistas who are going to do a great job of sharing that presentation today. And Amy McVitie, who just turned on her camera, is the one who is hoping to be able to share our presentation. And there's Brett Bunell also, who's joining us today. So if we have the ability to share, we can provide the presentation here as well.
I just made them presenters.
Okay, Isabel says she just made them presenters, so let's see if we can get that.
Wonderful.
Welcome,
Thank
Amy
you,
and
Isabel. So I'm just going to indicate just a little bit of an overview. Many of you, I know the commissioners are familiar, but maybe not everybody in the community is. Our Vistas here that I just mentioned will be providing them a presentation which has a little bit of history in it, also about our structure, about how the program works, and so forth. So as the administrator for the Health and Human Services Department, which includes this project, Tillamook County Wellness, in our work, we provide the infrastructure, backbone, if you will, staff support for this project, Tillamook County Wellness, and its related advisory committee that shares information with all of you as the elected county commissioners. In addition, we partner with Adventist Health, who provides part of an FTE in the form of Michelle Yake, who you have come to know over the years as we put this project together. Michelle unfortunately isn't able to join us today, but I am excited to introduce you again to Amy McVitie and Brett Bunnell, who are our AmeriCorps Vistas this year and have become well aware of our work with Tillamook County Wellness, but also done great work in some of the committees to which they're assigned and in our community as a whole. It would be wonderful if they had more opportunity to actually interact one-on-one in the community, but as we see things opening up in this next year, or expect future vistas and maybe the end of their service year, they'll have more opportunity to do that. So with that, I believe Brett's going to start off the presentation and then he'll hand off to Amy. If you could, Brett, just say a little bit about yourself and how you came into service with AmeriCorps and with our Tillamook County Wellness, and then hand it off to Amy. Thank you so much. Go ahead.
Great, thanks. My name is Brett Bunnell, and I started my service with AmeriCorps last August. I had applied to a number of different AmeriCorps positions through the partnership with OHA, but the opportunity in Tillamook County excited me in particular, due in large part to the Tillamook County Wellness Organization and the kind of work that they were doing to make healthy choices easier for community members to make, and that's kind of what drew me into it. And I'll pass it over to Amy for her introduction.
Yeah, hi everyone. Like Marlene said, my name is Amy McVitie. I started as an AmeriCorps member in June, and will be completing this June 2022. I also, like Brett, had applied to a number of the OHA AmeriCorps positions, but I was really drawn to the small community of Tillamook. I was really excited to get more on the ground, hands-off on public health work. So really excited for what I've been able to do in the community and continuing to do.
Great, all right. Well, as was mentioned, this is going to be a presentation of the year in review of 2021, and we'll get things kicked off. Let's see, Amy, if you could advance the slide, thanks. So a key focus of Tillamook County Wellness is preventing type 2 diabetes. Just a little info on that. Right now, about 12% of adults in the United States are diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, but like with many diseases, data shows that universal health screening would actually reveal even more people having type 2 diabetes. In this case, an additional 30% of people being diagnosed as diabetic or pre-diabetic. So with that in mind, the mission of Tillamook County Wellness was formed as a diverse community coalition using evidence-informed approaches, aims to positively influence policies, systems, environments, community norms, and values to promote healthful lifestyles. And that mission is kind of transferred into the vision of the organization as making Tillamook County a place where healthier choices are the norm, where creating a healthy community is the responsibility of the community and not just the individual, where all health services care for the whole person, and where individuals feel empowered by their community to engage in healthful lifestyles. And the current goal is by 2027 for the percentage of people who are at risk for type 2 diabetes to decrease. So that goal underlies at a foundational level the work that the organization is doing. And yeah, thanks. So this idea of working upstream comes from the health impact pyramid that you can see on the screen there, and the idea that the most impactful effort happens at the foundational level of an issue. So at the very top of the pyramid, we see counseling and education. That's going to be very one-on-one with an individual. as you get further down, you see socioeconomic factors and changing the context to make individuals' default decisions healthy. This is where the most effective interventions are going to be made, at least in terms of resources and effort. A lot of the work that Tillamook County Wellness does is focused further down that pyramid in hopes of, in addition to having that impact with the individual, also changing really the way things are in the community so that in the future, healthier choices are easier to make for folks. The framework for action was developed in 2017, and it is to work together to address factors that impact population health. So we've identified these as cultural norms, community environments that include outdoor spaces and workplaces, as well as systemic and structural barriers, which include language and transportation. Here's an overview of the structure of Tillamook County Wellness. On the left, we see the advisory committee and backbone. To the right of that, that's where Amy and I come in. In the middle, resource development, community engagement, technical assistance, and evaluation. That is shared with the advisory committee. That's where the support is offered for the committee groups. Further to the right, we have the chairs group. So these are the chairs and co-chairs of the different committees that make up Tillamook County Wellness. And those include access to healthy food, worksite wellness, health promotion, access to physical activity, and screenings. And as we go through the presentation, we'll offer more information about each one of those. The Tillamook County Community Health, thanks, Amy. Tillamook County Community Health Centers provide the backbone staff to support the action committees, and the public health program representatives are Tara Stevens, Shelby Porter, and Ariel Silka. And as we've already mentioned, the AmeriCorps Vistas this year are Amy and myself.
So we accomplished a lot of great work in 2021, and I just wanted to highlight some of our overall coalition accomplishments before jumping into the work of each of our action committees. We had 46 different community organizations participate in our work, with 86 individual community members serving in our committees. Over the course of the year, these members provided over 1,640 volunteer hours. We also had a total investment of over $300,000, including $120,000 from Tillamook County Community Health Centers in backbone funding and support, and $60,000 from Adventist Health Tillamook in in-kind coordination. We also received $70,000 in grant funding from the Oregon Health Authority, and our in-kind volunteer hours valued nearly $50,000. This huge community investment in our work is what has made what we do possible, and we're excited to continue in the future. Now, jumping into our 5 action committees, I'll start with our Health Promotions Committee. This group focuses on sharing educational health and wellness information through various media channels, and in 2021 piloted 4 different wellness campaigns. They shared a total of 10 e-newsletters and 50 blog articles, each of which is written by community members. They also shared 50 recipes and 300 social media posts, with an average engagement rate of 8% per post. The standard for a good social media post is considered to be 3 to 5%, so we're really happy to see that the community is responding to the work that we're doing and engaging with the content we share. Now, moving on to our Connect and Screen Committee, this committee works to increase diabetes risk screenings and referrals to appropriate resources. One of the ways that we're doing this is by expanding the Connect Oregon Network, which is a closed-loop referral network that allows community organizations to refer the clients they serve to other organizations and provide the positive social supports that they need. At the end of 2021, we had 20 organizations in Tillamook County on the network, including Adventist Health Tillamook, CARE, Northwest Senior and Disability Services, Tides of Change, Tillamook County Community Health Centers, our Veteran Services, and the Family YMCA. As you can see, we have a wide range of community organizations on the network, meaning we're able to address a variety of social needs, and we're continually adding more. Expanding this network allows us as a community to provide more holistic support and address all of people's social needs. The Connect and Screen Committee is also helping to support the National Diabetes Prevention Program, or NDPP. This is an evidence-based program that helps people with pre-diabetes reverse their risk for type 2 diabetes and encourages them to develop a sustainably healthy lifestyle. This program is offered completely free of charge to eligible participants thanks to several community partners. And we want to give a really big thank you to the Tillamook Family YMCA for hosting the class and providing so much support. The program is part of the Connect Oregon network, which makes it easy for community partners to refer any clients they think may benefit from the program. And in 2021, we hosted weekly orientations in both English and Spanish for interested individuals. We ended up with a total of 33 participants last year, including 8 participants in a new Spanish-speaking NDPP class and 8 Oregon Health Plan members. As a group, these participants lost a total of 345 pounds and an average of over 10 pounds per person. The program has been a huge success for the folks that have been able to participate, and we're excited to keep expanding it and our chronic disease prevention and management programs. Now, I'd like to jump over to our Access to Healthy Foods Committee. We had several different projects going on in this area last year. The first is our healthy recipes, which we share weekly in print and online media, as well as on our website and social media pages. These recipes have seen a ton of community engagement, and we're really excited that a lot of people are making the recipes themselves and maybe trying foods that they never have before. In 2021, we added a new print option to our website, which makes it easier for anyone that prefers a physical copy of a recipe or just wants to save it for later use. Additionally, in the fall of 2021, OSU Extension Services conducted a food program assessment to better understand the access our community has to local healthy foods. In light of this work and in other work going on in the community, our coalition has decided to actually sunset our Nutrition Action Committee and instead focus on supporting our community efforts surrounding healthy food. Some of the projects we are working to support include Food Routes, which is increasing access to local food and reducing barriers to healthy, locally sourced foods, and OSU Extension Services and their SNAP Ed, or Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. We are very proud of the work that our Nutrition Committee was able to complete, and we're excited to continue supporting amazing community work surrounding nutrition. And I will now pass it back to Brett to discuss our last 2 action committees.
Okay, so Move Well. I'm not sure if anyone has seen this map, but it is great. I recommend everyone check it out. So the Tillamook County Recreation and Trails map is an interactive web-based map, and as of December, we had 415 local views. It's facilitated creation of a new position for a Tillamook County Trails and Recreation Coordinator, who's currently serving as the Access to Physical Activity Committee co-chair and is working to prioritize local needs and interests. Just a note on the map, it is a tool that shows people all of the different opportunities for activity in the county, which is great, particularly for people who may have lived in the county their whole lives, but haven't spent much time exploring the trail system or some of the other opportunities in the county. The map makes it really easy to find what's near you or maybe something new that you might be interested in checking out. So in 2021, there were 8 walking groups put on by volunteers and 35 average weekly walkers and 70 walkers in total. There were 4 guided group walks with an average attendance of 20 participants each. On the right, you can see some of the flyers for those walks. The one on the far right, the mushroom spotting walk on Mount Hebo, I was happy to lead. It was very successful. The parking lot at Mount Hebo was more than full, but the rangers didn't give anyone tickets, so that was great. We are currently planning the walking calendar for 2022 and are excited to put on more events that hopefully are as popular as the ones we put on last year. The Work Well Committee kept going. despite the challenges of COVID-19, and we even added new members in 2021. Grow Well was a very popular program. We had 86 participants getting free seeds to plant their vegetable gardens. That's a 4x increase over the previous year. We had a lot of social media engagement, and the prize that it's not why people were participating, of course, that was just the joy of gardening. But we did have a locally crafted garden gnome prize that was given out to one lucky participant. And just to kind of share the purpose of this program, I'll read out the quote. I had a garden win this summer, my first year with an in-ground garden, and it was an amazing learning tool for my homeschool first grader in May. Check out our latest bounty. So that's an example of some of the social media participation we had, and quite an impressive amount of food. I'd be lucky to get that much out of my garden this year. And that'll do it. So thanks for your time, and we'll now open things up for any questions or comments.
Thank you so much for your presentation. Commissioner Bell, would you like to start off as the liaison to the wellness program?
Well, I'd just like to say that Tillamook County Wellness does an extraordinary job. It's really a remarkable program, bringing together all kinds of community partners, and I love the mission and the vision of making Tillamook County a place where making healthy food choices is easy and supported, and it's part of our culture, and I'm fully supportive and very grateful. There are so many people working on this project. It's moving to think about how much people in our community give for the betterment of the community. And so I'm just really grateful. Thank you. And thanks to Brett and Amy for being here today to make the presentation.
Thank you. Commissioner Yamamoto, did you want to make some comments?
I would love to. Thank you so much. I mean, this is truly amazing. So, taking on type 2 diabetes is something that's really needed, not only in this county, but everywhere. I spent 20 years prior to becoming a commissioner as a long-term care specialist, dealing with people that were near or in retirement. And type 2 diabetes, it's an insidious disease. It is. But it's easily, well, not easily, but it is controllable. Rather than shortening your life, you can live with type 2 diabetes with exercise and changes in diet, things of that nature, and it's easy to take care of. At the same time, for Brett and Amy, I appreciate very much both of you being here. I'm sure one of the reasons you're here, not only because of the Tillamook County Wellness Program, but because of people like Marlene and Michelle. I mean, they are absolute champions. It's unbelievable. Bill Bartlett, former Commissioner Bill Bartlett, started this. It was the Year of Wellness, and that was supposed to be 1 year. And it's just taken off. I want to say that it's taken on a life of its own. And I can say that as a commissioner. But nothing has a life of its own without being pushed and cajoled and worked on by so many hardworking people. And again, this is an absolute amazing project in Tillamook County. Every year, it just continues to grow and grow and grow. It's got statewide attention. It's gaining some national attention. Tillamook County is just that way. Tillamook County leads the state and the nation in so many different ways. It's kind of scary. It really is. But again, this stuff doesn't happen without a lot of hard work by many, many people. And again, everyone here today, everyone listening, I'm hoping you take advantage of now what used to be the Year of Wellness, but now is the Tillamook County Wellness Program that just continues to expand. So again, Amy and Brett and Marlene in particular, thank you so much for all of your work on this. And let's keep taking this to new levels. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, Commissioner. And I would echo what's been said. This is an amazing program. I remember when it kicked off as the Year of Wellness and everyone thinking, well, this will be a fun year. And it gained so much momentum and just really has become a part of the fabric of our community. So I just want to thank everyone for their hard work on it. I want to thank Brett and Amy. I know that a year of service with AmeriCorps is super rewarding and extremely challenging. So we appreciate your willingness to come here to Tillamook County and spend a year with us and provide support to this project. So we thank you for that. Marlene, is there anything else you want to say to wrap this up?
Just stay tuned for more projects and work to come. If you're interested in connecting with us, there's information here on how to contact Michelle. Folks can also reach out to any of the staff here today, and even to Commissioner Belt, who can refer people on as a contact to the organization. So if you're interested in being involved in any of this kind of work or just learning more, please reach out. We're happy to share information and discuss.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, we will move on to our legislative agenda, and it looks like Marlene will be sticking around with us. We are starting with discussion and consideration of an administrative standard for social media use for county accounts for the Health and Human Services Department. Marlene.
Yes, I'm sure you've become familiar with these appearing on your agenda throughout the weeks and months as each department includes their information. So I guess you can probably tell from the information shared with our Tillamook County wellness projects that we do use social media quite a bit to share information and engage in outreach with our community. So our plan includes the use of Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. We have also several, websites through which we share this information and links. And they're also shared through the standard media, whether you call that print media, newspapers, radio, and the like. So we plan to continue to use these sites and the social media and our websites and our Spanish language only site as well to share information. So that document is included in your packet today, along with the operational standards that are signed by the staff currently that are authorized to use these media sources. Amy McVitie included, although her service will end in June, you'll probably see updated operational signatures as new people join our team. So thank you for your consideration of that. If you have questions, happy to answer them.
Thank you, Marlene. Yeah, social media is such an important tool, and I know that during the pandemic, the way that you guys have gotten so much information out, the community has continued to be that use of social media. So I'm excited we have our policies on board, and thank you for bringing forward the paperwork to get us all in alignment with our new policies. Commissioners, other comments?
I'd just like to say to Marlene that your team does an outstanding job communicating, and in all of the ways that you mentioned. And I see your communications from the health department regularly, and I think that it's gone a long way. Those have gone a long way toward educating our community, and I'm grateful. So thank you.
Thank you. I think we would be ready for a motion.
Madam Chair, I move approval of administrative standards for social media use for county accounts for the Health and Human Services Department.
Now a second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I will call for the vote. All of those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion carries. Okay, Marlene is with us for the next item as well. So we have discussion and consideration of a personnel requisition for a regular full-time public health program representative. Marlene.
Yes, this actually relates as well to some of our outreach efforts, communication, and efforts to engage diverse persons in our community. So as part of new funding appropriation with the Oregon Health Authority relating to public health modernization, we are seeking this full-time position to assist in those three areas. In diversity, equity, inclusion is one category, communications and communication pathways, and outreach to diverse populations. So those are the main functions. We're seeking a preferred applicant that is bilingual in English and Spanish. It'd be wonderful if they grew up here and knew our community and felt a part of their, perhaps their culture that they grew up with in their family, whether that's Hispanic, Latino, Latinx, and our own, and their own communities here in Tillamook. So we are working with some temp folks on this work now, but we'd love to have a full-time person join our team. So we are hoping to have this approved. Again, there's funding not budgeted in the current fiscal year, but awarded through the Oregon Health Authority this year. So we can begin to plan and have them be fully implemented for the second year of the biennium, which is the 22-23 year. So we've got a little bit of an overlap this year. It would be great. So yes, for your consideration is this full-time new public health program representative position.
Thank you. Comments or questions?
No, I'm fully supportive. I think it's great, and good luck finding somebody bilingual and local. That would be ideal. I agree. So hold hope for that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Commissioner Yamamoto?
Yes, I'm hoping you can hear me.
Yes.
Perfect. So I had a little audio problem, so I had to phone in. But no, I am fully in support of this, and thank Marlene for everything she's done.
Excellent. Thank you. And as am I think this is really important for us as we look at the population in the county. I was reviewing numbers, and 30% of our youth are Hispanic, Latino, Latinx. That is a huge percentage of our population. And so when we look at how we are outreaching and just really assuring that the county is providing services to our full population, having this particular position is extremely important. So I would look for a motion.
Madam Chair, I move approval of a personnel requisition for a regular full-time public health program representative.
And I would second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. Okay, thank you so
Thank
much,
you, Marlene.
Marlene.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Okay, we will move on to agenda item 8, discussion and consideration of an order in the matter of changing customer and franchise rates for municipal solid waste, yard debris, and commingled recycling disposal at the Tillamook Transfer Station. We have David McCall, Solid Waste Program Manager. Morning, David.
Yes, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Morning.
yes, can.
Okay, thank you, Commissioners. So actually, just as you read that, I realized there is a small mistake in the title. So it is not only the Tillamook, but also the Pacific City and Manzanita transfer stations that are included in this board order. I probably screwed that up on the title part. But what do you have? So each year we set rates for disposal at our 3 transfer stations. And but you may not recall this very well because the last time we changed any rates was in 2019. So we have not modified our rates since then. But in the meantime, so all of our rates and the costs we pay are generally driven by inflation or CPI. And since the last time we changed rates in July of 2019, we have basically been subjected to, we've gone through 12% CPI increase, so inflation. And the Solid Waste Advisory Committee looked at the different options available, and what they voted to support with this and recommend to you would be a 6.2% increase. That is the actual increase that we are experiencing in disposal fees this year. So not taking into account the previous couple years, but this year, that's what we're at 6.2. That's what we're paying as an increased fee, and they recommend that we adjust our rates accordingly. The board order you have in front of you is kind of lengthy and says the same things in a couple different ways to provide clarity from different perspectives. The essence of this is 3 different items. So one, a 6.2% increase, which is recommended across the board in all the fees. To accompany that, they recommend the changing our minimum fees, which we have, it's $22 at all transfer stations currently. They recommend adjusting that to $24. So that's your 6.2% on the disposal, and then we have a surcharge that helps us with our recycling. Recycling markets have stabilized. I hesitate to say that they're good, but 3 years ago when we last looked at this, they were very chaotic. Now they are stabilized, so we're able to, basically there are markets available for all the materials. Some materials we have to haul it there, and then they're willing to accept it for free. So we have costs involved with it, but at least they're stable markets at this point. So we have adjusted, along with the disposal fee, made some adjustments with the surcharge as well to make that $24 the same across the board. And these are adjustments like 20-some cents on each to make them the same. The third item that you'll see as a change on there is a recommendation to implement a tarping fee. A tarping fee is something used in many places in the state and across the country to cut back on litter along roads. So in the past, we have spent several $1,000s each year primarily to the jail crew, would go out and pick up trash along Eckloff Road, Tillamook River Road, Bruton Road, McCarty City Road, and Miami Foley Road. But we have not had a jail crew available to do that for several years. And given our staffing levels at the transfer stations, we have difficulties cutting loose staff to go out and do the same. So the recommendation here is actually two-part. One would be to implement a tarping fee on uncovered loads. So if somebody comes in with a pickup or a trailer that's not covered in any way, shape, or form, they would be subjected to a tarping fee, but it wouldn't be just a straight fee. With that fee, we would provide them with a tarp and straps for them to be able to use next time so that they don't have the problem of not having a tarp and strap the next time. We did some research and found at different places across the nation that tends to be the method that is, I don't want to say most well-received, but met with less resistance because they feel they're getting something in exchange. It's not just a fine. And in doing this, so it wouldn't have to be a tarp that people are using to hold down their loads. It could also be, a net. It could even be tying down a mattress on top, just to ensure that nothing is falling off of their loads as they go. And with this, there's a couple dollars of, because markets change and we're not sure exactly what we'll pay for the tarps and straps as things change, but we have a couple dollars of money in that. And we intend to use that money as kind of an internal earmark and invite organizations to come and, I'll say, adopt the section of road in different places and be able to reward them for coming and cleaning that up. Use this money, put it back in there to actually clean up the roads. So on the one hand, we would hope to see a reduction in litter there, but on the second hand, the availability to turn that money that we get and turn it back over to some local organizations that we can involve in this process. So that was a very short summary of the three main areas of this, and I would turn it back over to you. And so the Solid Waste Advisory Committee met and discussed this at length last week at their meeting and unanimously recommended approval of these fees as these. So with that, I'll turn it back to you over to you, and I'm available for any questions you may have.
Thank you, David, I appreciate that. Mr. Bell, as the liaison, do you have any other comments?
Thank you, I do. I was at the Solid Waste Advisory Committee meeting where, as Dave said, this was discussed at length, and it was a terrific discussion. And I think it's important, I support this, and I think it's important for people to understand that, as Dave mentioned, the cost of doing business has gone up substantially. And so it's our intention with the county solid waste program to break even. We're not trying to make money on this, but it has to pay for itself. And so hence we have to raise the fees. And for our franchisees, we contract with franchisees who do a terrific job in the county. It has to pencil out for them, or they're not going to be willing or able to do the work. And so it's time, And, you know, everybody takes it very seriously about raising fees, but it's time and it's necessary. And as for the tarping fee, we had a great discussion about that because the incidences of roadside litter are increasing. And as Dave mentioned, we're not, we don't have jail work crews or folks available to pick up litter on the roadsides. And so it's, I think it's a good approach. It's being widely used. I like that the money will be used to purchase the tarps and straps for people, so that, you know, they get the tool they need for that to not happen again. I said in the Solid Waste Advisory Committee meeting that I have concerns about our transfer station employees who may get a lot of pushback from angry customers, and I've thought about that since. And so I want to suggest to Dave that we work with HR and get the transfer station employees some training. That HR has a great program about dealing with difficult customers, and so if he's interested in that, I'd like to talk to him about that, because that's my only hesitation about this, is that people aren't going to like it, and as is common, the person who delivers the news is the person who's going to get the pushback in person. So that's what I have to say about this. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Yamamoto.
Thank you. Yes, I've got no concerns about this fee structure. When it comes from the SWAC, and again, this is one of our more active advisory committees, Solid Waste Advisory Committee is a great committee. They are very thorough in everything that they do, and I appreciate them and all of the volunteers very much. I do have one concern. I don't know who we're using as county council today. Is Joel Stevens in the room?
Yes, Joel is with us today.
Thank you. So, one question I have. So, we did a public notice, and the title on this board order does not include Manzanita Civic City transfer stations. Joel, do you see that as a problem as far as the titling goes and our noticing of this item for today?
Thank you, Commissioner Yamamoto. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. I do not see it as a problem. The document itself, which is linked to the agenda, is appropriately titled. I think there was just a little bit of an issue with the title on the agenda itself, but it's very clear from the document itself where the fees apply. So I don't see it as it being a significant issue.
Okay. Just wanted to bring it up just to make sure. Thank you.
Thank you. So David, I have a question and how will we get the word out to the public? It would be great if people knew before they showed up at the transfer station that this was a new requirement, and I see that it's effective in July. So do we have a plan or a process to really get the word out?
Yes, we do. Thank you. So we will be going through and utilizing every method of communication that we can come up with. We print, including print media, social media, but also going to some of the different groups around, going out on the radio. We will be putting up additional signage at various places. So at every access road, and that's not the immediate access, but say within the 1.5 to 2 miles from the transfer station entrances, we have signs up already at each transfer station saying you're required to cover your load, and I'm not sure how much a fine could be because I don't remember off the top of my head, it's something like $400 for an uncovered load. We will be adding additional signage to those signs out there about the tarping fee and the tarping necessity, and really trying to reach out to in every means possible and well in advance so that no one should be surprised when they get there.
Perfect, thank you. I think that's one of those important pieces along with training the staff in terms of supporting a staff is making sure people know this is coming and they know that they will have to pay the fee if they don't go ahead and get their own tarp, but giving them ample time to get their own tarp should they choose to do that. So thank you for that, I appreciate that. I think we are ready for a motion on this, and I think you have amended.
I do.
Awesome, thank you.
You're welcome. Madam Chair, I move approval of changing customer and franchise rates for municipal solid waste, yard debris, and commingled recycling disposal at the Tillamook, Pacific City, and Manzanita transfer stations.
And I would second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you,
so
Commissioners.
much. Thank you, David. Okay, as we previously said, item number 9 is postponed. Moving on to item number 10. Discussion and consideration of a ground lease agreement with the Port of Tillamook Bay property located at the Port of Tillamook Bay Industrial Park. We have Sarah Absher, Director of Community Development today. Good morning, Sarah.
Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you. So yes, before you today is a request for signature and authorization of a lease agreement between the county and the Port of Tillamook Bay. This is part of our code compliance program and expansion of that program in partnership with the Sheriff's Office, Department of Forestry, Parks, and Tillamook County Public Works. And so this is a roughly 1/4 acre area of land that we hope to be able to utilize as we continue our efforts to enhance our code compliance program throughout the county.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Yamamoto, any comments? I know that Sarah's within your liaisons, community development.
No, I think this is great. We've been having these conversations for some time now, and it's coming to fruition. And I mean, we do have issues out there, so that this is one more step in making sure that we can handle the issues that come up.
Perfect, thank you. Commissioner Bell?
Fully supportive.
Okay, as am I. I would look for a motion.
Madam Chair, I move approval of a ground lease agreement with the Port of Tillamook Bay for property located at the Port of Tillamook Bay Industrial Park.
And I would second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I will call for the vote. All of those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion carries. Thank you so much, Sarah.
Thanks, Sarah.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Okay, so we'll move on to item 11. Discussion and consideration of an order in the matter of the appointment of a member to the 4-H Extension Service District Budget Committee. Sean Blanchard, Treasurer. Morning, Sean.
Good morning, Commissioners. Yes, there's an opening on the 4-H and Extension Budget Committee. Becky Heimerl has applied for that position. She's more than well qualified. She is a local of Tillamook, moved back with her family. She's a volunteer for 4-H already. She also is part of the Junior Livestock Auction Committee and past president of the Oregon Dairy Women and vice president of the Tillamook County Dairy Women. So I think she will be a great addition to the 4-H Budget Committee.
Thank you, Sean. I would agree. Commissioners, any comments?
Oh, I'm grateful that she's willing.
Excellent, thank you. Commissioner Yamamoto?
Absolutely. And as I always say, Tillamook County cannot run without its volunteers, and it's another great example of that. So I fully support it.
Excellent. All right, I would be.
Thank you.
I move approval of an appointment of Becky Heimerl to the 4-H and Extension Service District Budget Committee.
And I would second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I will call for the vote. All of those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. Thank you so much, Sean.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Okay, item 12, discussion and consideration of a 2022 State Homeland Security Grant Program application. And we have Randy Thorpe, our Emergency Management Director, in the room with us. Good morning, Randy.
Good morning. It's good to see Commissioner Yamamoto here too. What we have here
Always
is,
present.
is a grant that I can basically submit through the county. It's a federal grant. It's with the Homeland Security portion, and this grant particularly that I'm doing is a non-competitive allocation. So it's basically as long as I can present projects that meet their criteria, it's pretty much a done deal, hopefully.
Excellent.
And again, the biggest thing here is it is a non-matching fund. The money's there. We do quarterly reports. and submit what we've done with the money, and then we get the quarterly reimbursement coming back. And with this, I've actually been able to submit 2 projects. I've got one project that is basically just strictly with the county, and it's roughly around $17,000, and it's to purchase a ID and credentialing program. In the past, we've tried to obtain it through other grants and have been unsuccessful, so this time I hope we're successful. And what this is, it's through the mobile solution system, and it allows us to basically bring our volunteers and put them into a database, create ID badges for them. Also with the credentialing, we can enter in any of their training they have, experience they have. So we basically know when we start to use our volunteers in any type of emergency, who's qualified to do what. And that, I think, will really help us be able to utilize our people a little bit more effectively throughout the county. And we have so many volunteers that this way I'm hoping that we can really capture everyone. Capture is the right word, right? and get them into a nice database to where we can do it. But it's also a nice program because if there is an emergency, we can use the program to clock in and clock out our volunteers, which will track their time, which is very important when we do any type of reimbursement on a national or federal type of a disaster. So it's an easy way to track our volunteers' time while we're out there with that. The other one is, it's actually a project with the South Tillamook County Emergency Volunteer Corps. And this grant allows us to have sub-applicants that are not the county, such as this volunteer group, because they're a nonprofit, to basically petition and go apply for their project through this grant on the coattails of the county. With this, the county won't have the involvement with it. It's going to be a separate project. There are going to be separate agreements that will be signed between their organization and the state. And they'll be the ones tracking the money. They'll be the ones, asking for reimbursement and not the county. So it's actually 2 separate projects, but we couple them together because that's the only way that they would be able to get funding through this project is with the county. And their project is great. Marge came up with a wonderful project down here. What she's wanting to do is purchase and build, basically, 3 mobile high-frequency radio stations. And what this will allow, she's going to be able to stage them throughout the south part of the county to assist in any type of communications during emergencies. And as we all know, most of the communications will go down during a major emergency. This will alleviate that because they're going to be standalone, their own power, and they'll be able to help with the communications, at least to start with in the south end of the county. I do believe that the north end of the county also has similar types of capability right now when I talked with Linda. So I think this is a great project for them, and to be able to get our communications up. And again, in an emergency, we're going to have to rely on our volunteers. There's no way around it. We're going to have to rely on our Oxcom people, our ham radio operators, and this project for them is going to definitely help us meet those needs during any type of emergency with communication. So I was really happy when she presented this to me, and I said, let's do it and let's get it on the agenda for that. So anyway, and their project is right around $15,000. So it brings the total grant that we're asking for to roughly $32,000, and we left a couple dollars on the table. The grant was actually for $32,700, so we left a couple $100. I was trying to squeeze as much as I could out of the allocation, but we got as close as we could on that. So anyway, right now I want to go ahead and get that sent off. I've got it into the system with the state right now for their review. Final tweaks have to be done by April 3rd. And I think most of the information I got is correct there. And then hopefully, you know, by this fall, they'll be able to make a decision and we'll get our paperwork back for me to bring back to the county for, again, signature and approval of the actual grant that comes through.
All right, thank you, Randy. Commissioner?
Thank you, Randy. I think these projects sound terrific, and I'm pleased that you're going after this grant. Non-competitive and non-matching are our favorite words in terms of grants, and so I think they'll both be great resources for the county, so thanks for your work.
Commissioner Yamamoto?
And I agree with that also. Randy, thank you for doing the paperwork for these grants. It's a great way to make sure we support our volunteers in the county. And you are absolutely right. Our volunteers are going to be instrumental. Should, not should, when the big one happens, but even in myriad disasters that we always see befall Tillamook County, whether it's flood or landslide. There's a landslide going on right now in Tillamook County. 101, I believe, is still closed. So yeah, it's a real problem. So these types of grants are wonderful, and we appreciate everything you're doing here.
Yeah, agree completely. Thank you so much, Randy. Appreciate your efforts.
Thank you.
All right. Madam Chair, I move approval of a 2022 State Homeland Security Grant Program application.
Now a second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I will call for the vote. All of those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. Thank you.
Hey, Randy, would you be willing to make a little update about the landslide and Highway 101?
Yes, the latest I've heard on that is that it's still closed. They actually got a pretty good picture of it on the TripAdvisor at the state site, and they're hoping to get it open again today, but I'm just thinking that it may take a little bit because the hillsides look pretty unstable looking at it. So I keep checking with them, and I'll send out an update if it does get opened up. But last I heard this morning is that it's still closed, and they're still working on it. They actually are able to get emergency vehicles through if need be, on a case-by-case basis. And so I think, they probably get the ambulances around the boulders and that, but, as far as normal traffic, it's still being diverted down through Miami Foley.
Okay, and the location of the slide?
Oh, location, it's at milepost 47, which is just it's south of Wheeler, and I guess it's an area that slides every year, and so it's pretty typical that way. But it's like I said, did they say milepost 47? So you have to take the Miami Foley. So going north, you get off at right there for Garibaldi, take the long way around, and coming from the north, I guess you just you pick up the road right there out of Nehalem. So I guess it's not that far of a detour, which is nice, and I guess it's a different view, and so hopefully they'll, like I said, they'll get it cleaned up. I'll continue to do some checking there. I'm honest as to where they alert me if it does get open. So
Okay.
hopefully it'll get open before people have to go home after work today.
Thank you.
You bet.
Thank you, Randy.
Madam Chair, if I may.
Yes, Commissioner.
So we need to understand that it's open to vehicular traffic, but it is length limited, so trucks are not allowed currently on Miami Foley. So that's kind of a kink in our transportation system right now. So it's imperative that we do get 101 reopened again.
All right, thank you. Yes, it's definitely one of the pieces here on the coast where we have one main thoroughfare, and boy, when it goes down like this, there's not a whole lot we can do, but let's certainly hope that landslide stabilizes and they're able to get it open soon safely. So thank you, Commissioner. Okay, so next we're on to agenda item 13, discussion and consideration of a personnel requisition for a part-time, not to exceed 19 hours parking ambassador for the Cape Kiwanda Day Use Area. Rachel Haggerty, Chief of Staff.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
This position is a new position to the county. We've been working on it for quite some time. on what approach we should take here. It's born out of the Cape Cod Master Plan and the Pacific City Woods Parking Management Plan, and many conversations over the last year with several members of the county staff. The county has a need to have someone on site in the Pacific City area helping us manage the parking there and provide information to the community and visitors about how to park, where to park, and other tourism opportunities. And so we've developed this job description. It's ready for your consideration. The person would be, as you mentioned in the agenda item, less than 20 hours a week. It's a part-time temporary position. They would be stationed on site at the Cape Cod lot and the Pacific City turnaround lots. Those are both the fee lots, and the funding for this is coming out of Fund 133, which is the county dedicated fund where parking fees from the Pacific City turnaround and the Cape Cod lot go. It's budgeted at about $17,000 a year for your consideration.
Thank you. Thank you, Rachel. Comments?
I think this is great.
This is-
Go ahead, Commissioner.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, please.
Thank you. Rachel has been working on this for a long time, and I hope that we're able to find somebody for this position this summer. The community of Pacific City continues to be concerned about people parking in the lot and not paying their parking fees, and so it just seems clear that without the hammer, if you will, without the aid of encouragement in terms of personnel present in the parking lot, if people think there's no consequence to not paying, some of them are not going to pay. A lot of people are going to pay regardless because they follow the rules. But there are a lot of people who are not going to pay if they think there's no consequence. And so I think this is a good approach and will help generate revenue, and it will also help for the community to feel like it's fair. I've heard from a number of people that they just don't think it's fair that they pay and others don't. And so I think this is a good approach, and I'm hopeful. So thank you for your work on this.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Yamamoto.
Yeah, I agree with everything Commissioner Bell said. And this is it's a problem not only in Pacific City, it's all over the coast, it's all of our high traffic tourist areas, all across Oregon, but it is particularly a problem in Pacific City. Anybody that comes to Pacific City during the summer months understands the issues that we have there. So this is, again, another way that we can help our visitors do the right thing. Again, I don't think there's going to be any enforcement authority here, but just having watchful eyes and explaining to people, what they should be doing, things of that nature in a nice way, is going to go a long way. And we just need to understand also that the Sheriff's Office more recently has decided to assist us, and so their deputies, when they are not busy, and they're always busy, there have been some weekends now where they have really kind of concentrated on parking in Pacific City and issued a couple hundred tickets from what I understand. So I think we're going to get a lot more people buying parking passes as they should be, and that's going to do nothing but help us continue to improve the situation in South County. So again, I am fully on board with that.
Thank you, Commissioner. Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think that having someone there, it's that difference when you pull into a lot and you see somebody in a brightly colored vest and you think, oh, they do have staff here. And if you didn't happen to see the machine to buy your ticket, you can have it pointed out to you, or if you did, it'll just, I think, encourage compliance. So I appreciate this. I know last summer we tried really hard to find a way to have someone there and ultimately did not find anyone to hire. So I have my fingers crossed, and I'm super hopeful that we will find folks to take the position. So I think we are ready for a motion.
Madam Chair, I move approval of a personnel requisition for a part-time, not to exceed 19 hours parking ambassador for the Cape Cod day use area.
And I would second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I will call for the vote. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. Thank you so much. Okay, we are moving on to board concerns. Commissioner Yamamoto, any board concerns today?
No, I think you're good, thank you.
All right, Commissioner Bell?
Not at this time.
Okay, I do not have any either. So we will jump into board announcements. So we, let's see, a couple of meetings coming up. The commissioners will hold a board briefing on Wednesday, March 16th, 2022 at 2 p.m. to discuss weekly commissioner updates. The meeting will be held at the courthouse in the Nestucca Room, 201 Laurel Avenue, Tillamook, Oregon. The teleconference number is 1-971-254-3149, conference ID 736-023-979#. The Emergency Medical Services Advisory Council will hold a meeting on Thursday, March 17th, 2022 at 11 a.m. The meeting will be held in the 911 Center at 2311 3rd Street, Tillamook, Oregon. All right, with that, I think that we've completed our agenda, and we will adjourn this meeting today at 10:06 a.m. Thank you.